Question, what was your biggest WTF moment on a date? I met this guy Adam through my friend Zoe last summer. He seemed completely normal. Decent job, own apartment, could hold a conversation, no obvious red flags. We exchanged numbers and texted for about a week before he asked me out to dinner. I arrived right on time and he was already there, which I actually appreciated. He stood up to greet me, pulled out my chair, all that stuff. The first 20 minutes were totally fine. We ordered drinks, talked about work, and he asked normal questions about my hobbies and interests. Looking back, I should have noticed the first weird sign when he ordered for both of us without asking what I wanted. I was planning to get the chicken parm, but he just told the server we'd both have the seafood risotto. When I mentioned I was actually thinking about getting something else, he laughed it off saying, "Trust me, their risotto is amazing. You'll thank me later." Not the biggest deal, but it felt a little presumptuous. The conversation shifted to past relationships, which I normally try to avoid on first dates. But he kept pushing. He asked how many guys I dated before him, and when I gave a vague answer, he kept pressing for a specific number. When I deflected again, he said something like, "I bet it's a lot. You seem like you've been around." His tone wasn't exactly joking. Then came the first real WTF moment. Mid-conversation, he pulled out his phone, opened his gallery, and started showing me pictures of his ex-girlfriends. Not just 1 or 2 photos. He had an entire album labeled previous relationships, with multiple folders organized by women's names. He scrolled through them, giving commentary on each woman, what he liked about them physically, why things ended, what their issues were. One folder was labeled Riley Psycho, and he made sure to tell me all about how crazy she was for getting upset when he went through her phone while she was sleeping. I tried changing the subject, asking about his family instead. He mentioned his mom, and I thought we were finally moving to safer territory. Then he said, "You actually remind me a lot of my mom when she was younger." Before I could respond, he pulled out another album on his phone labeled Mom, and started showing me pictures of his mother from the 70s and 80s. He kept pointing out physical similarities between us, saying things like, "You have the same nose," and "Her hips were just like yours." Then he casually mentioned that he'd already told his mom all about me and that she's excited to meet the girl I'm going to marry. This was still within the first hour of our date. I excused myself to the bathroom and texted Zoe. "This guy is giving me serious serial killer vibes. How well do you actually know him?" She responded that she'd only met him a few times through her boyfriend's work and didn't know much about him. Great. When I got back to the table, Adam had moved his chair to be right next to mine instead of across the table. He immediately put his arm around me and pulled me close, saying he couldn't bear to have the table between us anymore. The restaurant was pretty full, and people were definitely noticing how uncomfortable I looked. Then he pulled out his phone again and showed me a list titled Future Children Names. He had 10 boy names and 10 girl names already picked out, complete with middle names that he said were family names. He asked which ones I liked best because we should start thinking about these things early. The absolute peak WTF moment came when he reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. My heart nearly stopped. He didn't open it, just placed it on the table and said, "This isn't a proposal, yet, but I want you to know I'm serious about us. This is a promise ring. I got your size from Zoe." I was completely speechless. We had been texting for 1 week and this was our first date. I hadn't even finished my risotto yet. I excused myself to the bathroom again, this time grabbing my purse. I found our server and quietly explained that I needed to leave immediately and asked if there was a back exit. The server, bless her, took one look at my face and immediately understood. She showed me to the staff exit and even offered to call me a ride. As I was waiting for my Uber outside, my phone exploded with texts from Adam. He'd somehow already found my Instagram. The messages ranged from confused, "Where did you go?" to angry, "This is extremely rude," to pleading, "Please come back, I didn't mean to scare you," to threatening, "You're just like all the others, you'll regret this." I blocked him on everything, but he kept finding new ways to contact me, creating new accounts, emailing me at work, even sending me a handwritten letter to my apartment, which seriously freaked me out because I never told him my address. I finally had to get Zoe's boyfriend to intervene.